Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dadbod. Or today we can call me Mr. Sickbod because I've got some sinus stuff going on and it's crazy. But I wanted to talk about this again. I talked about it before, but it still doesn't make sense to me. I was watching the movie The Founder today, where Ray Kroc basically swindles the McDonald's company away from the two brothers. And that took place in the 50s, 1950s. And they were eating hamburgers and buying drinks and stuff, and they were roughly 15 cents. So I started looking it up, and in the 1950s, the minimum wage was 75 cents. Okay? 75 cents an hour, with an average yearly income of $3,000. But in 1950, you could also buy a house for $7,500. Okay? $7,500. If you fast forward to today, from that 75 right there, this is the new minimum wage, $7.50. Stay with me because I'm not a mathematician, but still doesn't make sense to me. This is only like a 10% increase, realistically, 10%. Okay? 10% is where wages went, okay? But in 1950, the dollar, if you had a dollar and you brought it with you from 1950 to today, it would be worth $22.31. So wouldn't it make sense for this to be the minimum wage, $167.50? Because that's $22.31 times $7.50 is $167.50 is what you should be making to be able to afford the amount of inflation that we have gained because of them raising the debt ceiling and stealing money from us and just generally making it unaffordable to live. That seems more affordable right here. If I was making that, I could probably do all right. But if you look at it, $1 million in 1950 is worth $13 million today. $13 million. If you had $1 million in 1950, today it is worth $13 million. So I went down a little bit. We're going to erase some of this. I took these big numbers and we brought them down to, numbers that we can see, because it just doesn't make no sense to me. Right now, where I'm at in Wyoming, it says a family of four needs $101,000 a year to survive. $101,000. The lowest on the map, when you look at it, if you Google it right now, the lowest on the map is, I believe, Louisiana and Oklahoma. That's $88,000 a year for a family of four to survive. Now, I know where I'm at in Wyoming, there is not hardly any job that is going to pay you $101,000 a year. There is nothing in this area that's going to pay that. As well as this being $88,000, the lowest on the map when you search on Google for the lowest place that you need to make for a family of four being Louisiana and Oklahoma at $88,000. There's not even jobs around here in Wyoming or Nebraska close by that pay $88,000 a year. Because we have inflation that has went up 1,000%. But our wages have only went up roughly 10% in the last 70 years. Now, I'm not saying that I don't understand, or I am saying I don't understand because it doesn't make no sense to me. But as a small business owner, I've owned my construction company for 23 years. There is a reason that we can't pay wages. It's because the federal government has their hand in there taking from the cookie jar before you even make any money. You have unemployment taxes, employment taxes, liabilities insurance. You have to buy licensing. You have to register with the state. You have to do all of this stuff. So in Wyoming, where it's one of the lowest places in the world to get licensing and all this stuff, it still costs me, just with the licensing, the insurance, and all of these things, it costs $23,000 before I even do a job. That's what I have to pay to have the business. If you have employees and you pay them an hourly wage, which, like I said, you can't afford to pay what they need to survive because the government is halting you and stopping you from doing it. But if you did pay, say you paid $40 an hour, which is a pretty decent wage, $40 an hour, if you could pay that, you have to pay taxes, employment taxes on everybody that you're paying every month. And in some cases, I have friends right now that are paying $20,000, $40,000 a month in taxes for payroll taxes. Payroll taxes are killing them. And that's why we can't afford anything in the United States. I mean, we work 40 hours a week. Sometimes, in most cases, most people have to work 2 and 3 jobs. And they still don't get close to the lowest one, the 88,000, let alone 101,000. In California and Maui, it's $189,000 is the minimum that you need to make for a family of 4. $189,000 a year. People can't afford to do this. Businesses cannot afford to pay these people. Someone needs to sit down in the federal government and put pen to paper and figure out what the hell went wrong. The American people didn't agree to you stealing our money, our tax money, and sending it overseas for wars we didn't want. We didn't agree to pay these people to see what transgender sex is in Afghanistan or to raise poppies in Afghanistan. We didn't agree for you to steal our tax money and send it to other countries and to other people, or to line your own pockets in government, like in Washington, D.C., Congress and Senate, just lining their pockets from Act Blue and USAID. We didn't agree to that. So now we've got an inflation that's up 1,000%, wages are up 10%, and no one can afford to live. I know I did this before, and I just don't get it. Like, there is not enough wage for people to survive. And it's because our government has a spending problem with the money that they're stealing from us. So something needs to happen. We need to get this figured out straight away, because people are only going to put up with this for so long. You see people already on TikTok and YouTube and different videos saying they're done paying taxes, they're done following the law, they're done with the federal government. Well, can you blame them? Look how much of the mismanagement is actually going on. I actually did a GoFundMe. You can find it. It is on all of my platforms for the government stealing my money. And it allowed me to do it. The mismanagement of them stealing taxpayer money is what's destroying the middle class and the lower class. I mean, there isn't even a lower class anymore. There's only a middle class and above. And people are still losing everything. So let me know what your thoughts are. Is it tough where you're at? Is the wage, like in Wyoming, the minimum wage is still $5.50. I did it at $7.50 because that's what it is most everywhere else. There's nowhere in this world that you could live on $5.50 an hour. Nowhere. I don't care if you're working 5 jobs. You can't do it. People are saying, oh, $20 an hour, that's a good wage. No, it's not. Look at the national statistic right here. 88,000 is the lowest if you live in Louisiana or Oklahoma. Where I'm at, 101,000 is what you need to make to survive. And there's no jobs out there like that. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know if this is going on where you're at. What would it take you to live comfortably in your area? Let me know. We'll see you on the next video.